Welcome back to Ravenport on Farming Simulator 19 for episode 16 with me, MrSealyp. 6:37 in the morning, and as you've already seen, I have been busy, really busy. I've done quite a few contracts again, as you can see. That's the best way I can think of doing them at the start, is just show you a few little clips of the start of the contracts, end of the contracts. Sometimes in the excitement of doing the contracts I forget to do a screenshot of the start or the end, and some of them where I duplicated, where I did two different ploughing jobs, I didn't do them both, otherwise you're just bouncing along the same kind of amount. Anyway, so we are up to 284,000. Hooray! Not bad at all. Very happy with that. I did a contract overnight. It was one of the payment things that came up, and it was on field 3. Now, field 3 had cotton in as well. It's still showing us cotton, but I did that as a contract. I did that as a contract because I was curious to see how much I'd get off of field 3. Bearing in mind field 2 is bigger, and field 2, by the time I'm done on it, let's just get onto the right. I've ended up all the way down there. If we go to growth, it's on its second growth stage now. I did fertilise that. I'm going to come on to that in a moment. And it obviously it's going to be it doesn't need ploughing, doesn't need lime at the moment, and it's had one fertilising state. Field 3 didn't have any of that, and I got on the contract a bale of about, was it 14,000 litres, I think. So I'm hoping on field 2 I'm going to get more than that. I'm hoping knocking on more towards 20,000 litres, maybe. Because somebody did say to me, if you lease the harvester, you're not going to make any money. I reckon I still can. It's not going to be a huge amount of money, I wouldn't have thought. But I can still make some money on it. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Making money on selling your crops and that kind of thing. So it may not be a huge amount. And if I've already got a harvester, maybe I would have been better off doing something like soybean or whatever in there, because then that would have been all profit, rather than having to lease another vehicle. That I'll probably do when I then turn that field over again onto whatever I'm going to do next. But I have done a few. One of the contracts I did cultivating on field 8, blimey, that took a while. And I have done a couple of fertilising jobs. But today's episode is going to be a bit of delivery, I think. Delivery man. I was going to put delivery boy, but delivery man, I don't know, whatever. The fertilising jobs were made a lot easier because I had lots of advice from a few different people about this situation here. Now, I was using the sprayer for various different reasons. At the start of the Let's Play, it seemed like the obvious thing to do because I could do herbicide as well. Then I did my tutorial assistance video on using the spreader bar, and then it actually works out far more efficient. Well, if you do solid fertiliser out of this with that spreader bar, it is probably one of the more efficient ways of doing fertilising. And a few people commented and said they fill theirs up and they just go for it on the fertilising contracts, and you can make an absolute fortune. And here's what I'm hoping that while I'm doing this Let's Play, I'm imparting some information, not just from me, but what I've gleaned and what other people have gleaned. I was doing, when I did a couple of the fertilising contracts, I did a fertilising contract on field 5. I think I did 2 fertilising contracts on field 5. And with my sprayer, That had a capacity of 3,700 litres with the front tank, and that would do that entire field just about, I think with about 500 litres left, it would do that entire field. Then I'd have to refill again. And I said the other day the price had gone up on the liquid fertiliser, and it has. However, with that new spreader, and here's the weird thing, I put 3 or 4 in because I had one already. I did one contract, a ploughing contract, and I used all of that money to buy fertiliser. I did field 5. I then did field 12, and I only used about 1,000 litres. It just kept going. So yeah, whilst it's costing me more to buy the solid fertiliser, it's going so much further, especially using this and the spreader bar. I think if I'd have bought the is it the Roush? I'm trying to think which one it is. If we scroll across to fertiliser technology, yeah, if I'd have bought on the Kuhn, I don't think that would have been the case. I think using the Bradales with that spreader bar, I mean, it's, yeah, that to me has worked out brilliantly. So for all those people that gave me that advice, thank you very much. Now I'm going to go and do one job first, and then when I've done that job, we're going to buy a new piece of machinery. We are. At some point soon, I'm going to upgrade the harvester, because I'm just finding doing contracts, if I do harvesting contracts, having your own harvester, absolutely fantastic, because it means you haven't got well, not lease anymore, as it's borrow. Again, thank you for all those people that pointed that out. It was one of those weird things you just kind of miss, your eye doesn't notice, you know. And that when I did that thing the other day and I said that they're leasing out already worn equipment, it's not leasing anymore, you're borrowing from the farmer. So you're not leasing from the store, you're borrowing it from the farmer, therefore it's kind of part worn already. Now, someone did ask me, I think it was Big Papa C, asked me, hang on, if you do that and you borrow, can you repair the headers, vehicles, or whatever, because you're starting off with a lot of hours on them already. I tried it with one of the harvesters, but not the header, so I'm assuming it's going to work with the header, and I took it straight down there, and it did say I could repair it for 700. There's a kind of it's going to help you with the contract you're doing, however you're repairing it for the farmer. You're being charged to borrow his equipment, and then, not that you're being expected to repair it, that's not the right word, but it just seemed a bit odd to me. Anyway, I don't know. But you know, there are a few, like I say, inconsistencies, I suppose, is the best way of looking at it. You know, again, I daren't open my mouth anymore, because as soon as I do, someone will jump down my throat telling me I'm wrong. But it's a bit odd to me, anyway, that if you are doing a job for someone, if a farmer said to me, your company sprays fields, could you come and spray my field for me, I would charge them for the job and however much spray I use. That's kind of how it would work, isn't it? I find it odd that you're doing jobs for people for spraying or fertilising, but then you're footing the bill for the fertiliser. That cost would be passed on to the person that's hiring you. That would seem weird to me. You know, anyway, I don't know. I'm sure there's some reason why I'm wrong. Anyway, the feed error is clear, so I'm going to disconnect that. What I am going to do, as my first of my delivery jobs today, I am going to take the milk. There's not a huge amount in there. I think we've got just over 2,000 litres at the moment, and of course it would be around the other way, wouldn't it? We'll just double check that. We have got 2,118 litres. Fantastic. Not a huge amount, but that's not bad considering we've only got 12 cows. As far as price goes, milk wasn't paying out too badly, as I recall, when I checked. Oh, it's starting to drop, but at the restaurant they're paying 1,500. I think that was up near 1.8 when I checked it, but then I suppose... Oh no, hang on. The ranch, 1,821 for 1,000 litres. So, you know what? What's over 2,000 litres? It's a bit of extra money. So I'll deliver the milk up to the ranch. They're obviously desperate for milk. So that's the first of my jobs. I will spray this, Barris, don't worry, I know you. You don't like the blue power being dirty. But anyway, so yeah, we're you know, we are making progress. It is, I think, again, the first few weeks of playing this, because I was trying to do guide twos and I was trying to do assistance videos and I was doing various different things to get anywhere on this, and I think the difference was on 17 there were easier ways of making money, but at the start of 17 it was just the same. It was putting the hours in. At the end of the day, turning fields, making your money that way, and 19's no different. You've got to put the hours in. You know, you're not going to make massive amounts of money if you play it for an hour a day. I mean, you know, that's the truth of the matter. You can do a cheat, you can buy whatever equipment you want, and you can just play it for fun and try out different vehicles, and of course you can. We've had that conversation before. And I think the problem was I was trying to find the time to fit everything in my day, and then obviously doing however many videos I was trying to get done, I just hadn't put the hours in at the end of the day. That's all there is to it. You know, the last 48 hours, I guess, I have put some serious hours into doing contracts on here, and I've made a bit of money. Not massive amounts of money, no, not by a long shot, and that's with the economy turned to easy. When this was on start from scratch, but hard mode, like hard mode, blimey, I think I probably would have been losing faith in it. Not losing faith in it, that's the wrong word. I think if I'd have carried on playing this on hardcore mode, the amount of time you've got to put in to make any money, I think far outweighs the amount of money you will be making, if that makes sense. I think the problem we're often forgetting is, and I have mentioned it a few times, just a few, it is a game, and you know, I don't agree with the instant gratification movement. You know, and I've taught in schools and you know, whatnot, and youngsters these days, it's not just youngsters, want instant gratification. It's the reason why people's attention spans are so short now. It's the reason why, you know, video clips and YouTube and Vine and, you know, all those, you know, Snapchats, they're all quick fix things, because people want a quick fix and move on. Quick fix, move on. Quick fix, move on. The attention span and patience and stuff isn't there. Not with everybody, don't get me wrong, but it's finding that fine line, because I consider myself to be an incredibly patient person. I really, really do. However, if I'd have been doing the grind that I've been doing the last 48 hours, and I'd only come out of it with a fraction of the money I've got now, I think I would be feeling a bit disheartened. And when I say a bit disheartened, I mean like a lot disheartened. Now, why is that not giving the option to unload? So here's the funny thing. A distracted person would have forgotten to put the milk actually into the milk container before driving away. Luckily, I'm not that kind of person. So, yeah, the milk thing hadn't come up to unload because there was no milk in it. But don't worry, there is now. So, let's sell that. That's not bad, 3,859. The cows are making us money. Right, well, that's the first delivery job done. I was having an interesting conversation with Big Papa C the other day. Actually, it might have been yesterday. And we were discussing the fact that, you know, you find when things go wrong, you kind of... There are two ways of doing it. You can just throw your controller at the screen or whatever it is, however your temper may be. The other camp is probably the one that's a little bit more scary. It's the people like me, and I think Big Papa C said the same thing, where you just kind of giggle, you laugh. And it's not a good laugh, it's a kind of laugh of, I can't believe I've just done all that and it's blue screened. I can't believe I've just done all of that and the contract's not complete because of X, Y, Z. whatever it might be, you do get to that point and you just kind of laugh and think, okay, I've just wasted 4 hours of my life, but you know what, let's start again. You take a breath, you make a cup of tea, you come back and you try again. I don't know which is worse actually, the anger throwing things or the slightly more scary and more menacing. Have a small giggle to yourself and then just carry on regardless. That will all build up, it will come out at some point. Anyway, so I thought I'd try a different route back. Let's try and find a way back. So we'll take the milk wagon back to the farm, and I'm going to do a couple of delivery contracts. I've had a few people asking me, I've had loads of people asking me, in all honesty, about various different videos. Could I do videos? And I mentioned in the last video. And there are, and I don't want to be rude, and absolutely not, you know, the thing is, there are quite a few of these things that are either too complicated or too long to do, too long-winded, and, you know, wow, it would just be a minefield. There are some that, to me, and I've done some that people say, oh, what's the point, it was obvious. I only do them when I think, to be honest with you, they're not actually like that obvious. There are some that people have asked me to do which have been, or I think are kind of obvious. The instructions are either in-game, or it's one of those things that if you just persevere a bit, have a bit of a play around with it, you'll work it out. It won't take too long. I think putting out a video on certain things is counterproductive, because it might help one or two people but not a lot of people. My rule of thumb generally is if I've suddenly thought, blimey, I didn't know that, or that's a shock to me, or that's a surprise, there are likely to be people out there that feel the same way, I'll do a video. So yeah, it just depends kind of how you look at it. So yeah, someone asked me about transporting jobs, and I thought, well, I don't really... Why are the blades still going on that mixer? I don't really want to do an entire video on transport jobs, because the contracts are the contracts, they are what they are. And I personally think they are fairly straightforward, I'll be honest. They're not overly complicated. I should have done that front ways on, shouldn't I? Let's get that round that way. That'll do. But people seem, I assume, are struggling with them a little bit. So what I was thinking of doing was, during this episode, do a couple of transport jobs. You know, that's why I put, you know, delivery man. And that kind of covers it both, and I haven't got to do a separate video, it's kind of in this video. I do often get the feeling some people don't watch my videos, and again, I just get the feeling they think I'm some kind of help desk. You know, a lot of times what I've done is shown things in the videos, so yeah, it's a case of watching them all really, watching the videos, watching the guide tos, the assistance videos, and somewhere in there. And if you have asked me to do a guide to or an assistance video and I haven't done it for any reason, I'm not being rude, I do apologise. I honestly am inundated with requests to do them, and I can't do them all. Honestly, I just can't. I can't do them all. So I haven't done yours, I do apologise. It's just the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak. So we have got this new, which is fantastic. I'm going to upgrade this at some point. Haven't had it long, but I've realised already I need a bigger header. I'm thinking of moving up to the Massey Ferguson Activa 74 something or other. 74. Do you think I'd remember? It's the one that was in 17. 7347. It's not overly expensive. The header that comes with that is a 7.5 or 7.6 metre, which is almost double the header for the TX32. It's got a larger tank capacity as well. So yeah, that'll require doing some more contracts. That being said, as well, contract wise, if I've got any more fertilising jobs that are available, which there will be soon, because a lot of the fields have kind of been turned overnight. There's been a few that have already have been cultivated, so there will be some, but I've got a couple of transport jobs, because what I'm going to do now is buy a second tractor. That way, while I'm doing stuff like this, things like fertilising contracts, I can leave that going with a worker, and potentially it'd be pretty much all profit, apart from the workers' fees, which will be a minimal amount. So I could have those jobs going in the background while I'm doing other things. There is one there, fertiliser. It's a very, very small field. Field 26, doesn't pay a huge amount. But I could do that with my own equipment, pick up 654. Again, it's one of those things that'll go across the field in probably one pass. So, what tractor am I going for? Now, I did say about a Deutz-Fahr. Deutz, I always say Deutz-Fahr. But anyway, however you say it. That's going to be, I'm going to get a bigger one, a larger one. This is just a second tractor to help out. And in looking through the tractors and reading people's comments and advice and various different things, I've come to the conclusion that what I'm going to get is a Case 7200 Pro Series. Because when you look at the cost of it, and then you look at the horsepower, I've already got my Blue Power, right? So that's the T6 Series Standard, and if we go right to the end, I've got the Blue Power that came as the PS4 bonus, which is 107,000. Now, weirdly enough, here's the other thing I want to just mention. The whole repair situation, the repair dealio, people, when I said about there's no point repairing the tractor because nothing actually happens to it, people said you need to repair your tractor, otherwise the value decreases and it's not worth anything. Well, let me tell you something. And again, I don't know how yours has fared. I have been repairing my Blue Power every time it's needed repair. I've been repairing it in between times when it hasn't come up with the warning. That cost me 107. Actually cost me a little bit more than that when I bought it. 120 or something, I think, with the whatever adjustments I put on it. That's now only worth 33,000. And I've been doing all repairs on it, so I'm a little bit, miffed is probably the word I'm looking for. Anyway, this bad boy. So, I'm going to go for a K7200. It's an older style tractor, I totally get that. However, standard out of the box, it's 98,000. What I love, look at this is so cool. At the moment it's got Trelleborgs on. If I click that across and put Michelin's on, look at that. Boom, that looks just wicked. I mean, what a stance on that. Looks fantastic. So, that's the first thing. I think the Pro bit on there, where it says 7210 Pro, it's got a very 1980s style to that, hasn't it? That blue with the fading into a little bit of a sunsetty red and pinks, and anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's just me thinks that, but it does look very 1980s. Now, that already looks quite chunky to me, so I'm not going to change that, but I'm going to put it on the largest engine size. Now, that takes up to 143,000, which is still pretty good, and that gives you 261 horsepower for 143,500. 260 horsepower. That seriously increases the capabilities as MrSealyp's farming services, and on the farm straight out the, well, I say straight out of the box, you've had to tweak the engine a little bit, but if I now do that to wide, that adds another 3,000, and in all honesty, doesn't make a huge amount of difference in that tyre. So, that's what we're going with. We're going to get a K72, what's it going to be? 7250. 7250 Pro. Yeah. Let's buy it. That's what a lot of the hard work's been for. We've got a new tractor on the farm. We are improving, we are increasing our footprint, so to speak. With those tyres, yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's nice. What does it sound like? It sounds quite high revving already. Right. Nice. Beacons, fantastic. How are we looking inside? As you would expect, a more basic cab interior. How are we looking on the old... Oh, nice. Like it already. This will make a huge difference. We are now a 2-tractor farm. So next jobs then, I'm going to do a couple of transport jobs. I did say I was going to do that, and I'm not sure what elements of it people are a little bit unsure about, but we'll sort that out in a moment. I think there's something I need to install, so bear with me. I'm going to drive this around the car park a little bit. Nice tractor. I suppose logic would have dictated that I should have bought one of these straight out at the start of the Let's Play. I would have had a 260 horsepower tractor straight away, but I really wanted to get the blue power, and it's been a workhorse. I'm still over the moon with it, but yeah, this is cool. Okay, so I'm back from installing what I needed to install. Here's the thing, for doing transport jobs, I think one of the things people are a little bit confused about at the moment is they're trying to use various different trailers, and they can't strap pallets and stuff down to them. Now, this is another one of those ones I'm not sure about. I'm trying to think back to FS17. What I have installed under baling technology is the Fliegl DPW 180 trailer. So if I click on that, it says a bale trailer is used to transport bales. We know that. It's also got straps. We know that. I don't want the extensions. I'll just leave it like that. I mean, to be fair, with the extensions on, if you do stop suddenly, any pallets aren't going to go flying off, I guess. To lease, you're looking at 816 or 892, I think it is. Now, if I lease that, that's going to eat into any profit I make on the transport jobs. But I want to show you. So, you know, we'll do it anyway. Although, I've just realised something. Haha. I was going to use this. This doesn't have front loader attachment, and I need a front loader. So, although we've just bought this, I don't think we're going to be using this for this job. That's quite frustrating. Now, this does have straps, like so. But then so do these. If we convert these down to their bale transport mode, they do have them. Now, I found with doing transport jobs with these, the straps don't go over the pallets. I don't think they're going to on the Fliegl either. If I'm honest, I don't think they're going to. So what I need to do then is I need to go and take the blue power, pick up the front loader forks, because the pallet fork's up here. And then we'll take on a contract for transport, because I think some of the transport contracts that are worth a little bit more money are for multiple pallets. If you can't strap the pallets down, what I might as well have done is just converted the 2 SEKs that I've got already. So, yeah, anyway, I'll see you back up in a minute when I've got the forks, because obviously you don't need to see me go back to the farm and pick them up. Oh, actually, you know what? No, while we're down here, we can discuss something else. Lots of discussion today, I like that. Again, thank you to everyone who commented. My consternation in the last episode regarding weeds was not about the weeds per se. Thank you to everyone who commented. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Right, now these weeds have now grown to full maturity in amongst my grass. Now, I know people said, well, of course you couldn't get rid of the weeds in the last episode because the crop's fully grown. Once a crop's fully grown, you can't touch the weeds. I'm fully aware of that. Grass is a slightly different beast. It's a different animal in that you can harvest, technically, cut at any growth stage. So once you've cut it, when it goes into the next shorter growth stage, you can go back and cut it again. The yield won't be great, but and I think it goes through 2 or 3 more growth stages until you're fully grown like this. Now I know if I cut this, the weeds will go. That's great. What I was more frustrated about, and what I'm more annoyed about, is the fact that I've got weeds turned off. So if I've got weeds turned off, how have I got a grass field full of weeds? I was baffled how I had the smaller ones, and with weeds turned off, I've now got the larger ones. Again, how? So, let's get our pallet forks. because I'm assuming I need pallet forks. Now, I'm going to use this to start off with. Not my favourite of trailers. Again, it's one of the swivel axles at the front, and I'm not a fan of these. But so let's have a look. What's the first one we have got on offer? Not in that menu, in this one. So transport was cement factory. Transport items from cement factory to the construction site. So if I click on that, accept contract. Now, first thing to note, anybody that asks me about doing a video on transport jobs and contracts, you never get offered to borrow equipment for contract jobs. You have to supply your own equipment. So that's the first thing. Second is, if you're not sure where the places are, I'm checking on there again. It says cement factory to construction site. If I go to the map now, there should be, if I scroll out a little bit, somewhere on this map, if I come in a little bit, right, I have got a yellow dot, and I'm assuming there should be a red dot somewhere. Where's the red dot? Oh, okay, right. So I've got a yellow dot here. That's your pickup point. So if you've got a transport job, you're looking for a yellow dot like that. That's where you're going to go pick up from. So that's the cement factory. And then there should be a red dot, which is there. And that red dot is where I'm taking to. So from the cement factory to the construction site. So from there to there. So those are the two things you're going to be looking for when you're doing a transport job. Is you're going to be looking for that yellow dot. Obviously, you might get confused then because you've got your various different implements and stuff are yellow dots as well. But it's a slightly larger yellow dot than the one for your implements. Or is that just a trick of my eyesight? It looks like it's bigger. So that's what you're looking for, yellow and a red. And that should tell you pickup point and your drop-off point. I think I told somebody that messaged me, I think I said a red circle and a green one, and I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I'm not if I got it wrong, I got that wrong. It's hard because when people message me and I haven't got my PlayStation on, I'm doing it from memory, and sometimes you think, I can't, without the PlayStation on, and it's weird how your muscle memory plays a huge part in that. When people ask you the controls for something, how do you turn lights on, how do you do, and you think, isn't it weird, without the controller in my hand, and with the controller in your hand, you do it automatically without even thinking about it. Without the controller in your hand, you stop and you think, I can't remember what the controls are. Isn't that bizarre? But anyway, that's just what it is. So, down to the cement factory. Now, I did a couple of these kind of contracts, I think, right at the very, very start, and made an absolute hash of it. I have found, personally, this is just me, pallet forks and stuff in 19 do seem a little bit sketchy. They seem very, very good for picking up. There you go, so we've got multiple pallets this time. I think one of these contracts I did first of all, I think I had 1 pallet to transport. Now I've got 5 to do. So, and I found stacking pallets up one on top of each other, not a good idea. They do not like that one bit. So for doing these larger contracts, a larger trailer may not be a bad idea. Again, that's entirely up to you how you do it. Now, I need to come at these at a slightly better angle. I found the pallet forks quite wide, so coming on the ends of pallets isn't always the best way of doing it, but again, however you pick up your pallets is entirely up to you. I'm pretty sure these aren't going to strap, but we'll see how we get on. We might get lucky. So I'm pretty sure on the early attempts at doing things like this, I did try to stack them and I didn't like it. So that will slide onto there, no problem at all. But what I have been finding, as you lift these up and down, pallets often, they're moving around on the forks quite a lot, which I don't like, but what can you do? So let's get the first of these on. I think definitely having the longer trailer is going to help, and having those bits on the end will make life a little bit easier, because if they do slide, because you often find in starting and stopping in your vehicles you get that slight little jerk, and if they're not, generally speaking, most of these trailers do have a locking script to a point, so stuff won't just go flying off. It shouldn't do. See, this is what I found a lot better. When you put things onto a trailer, Taking the pallet forks out seems a lot better in 19, but there just seems to be something a little bit sketchy about them at the moment. And again, like I said, that could just be me, my perception of it, I don't know. I've never been great at doing this in cab, so anyone is saying, you know, make it more realistic and do it in cab, I am terrible at it in cab. I make no bones about that. I've done this a lot on 17 and various different jobs and subscriber contracts. Subscriber contracts will be returning, not just yet, but they will be at some point. Don't worry, they will be coming. I won't say for obvious reasons, but there are certain things that need to be in place for those to work. And if you've watched any of my Let's Plays before where I do them, you'll understand what I mean by that. If you don't know what they are, subscriber contracts, when I do start doing a Let's Play with subscriber contracts, you, the subscribers, can message me with a contract you would like. So it's kind of a narrative, a storyline. You pretend, or you know, you are a farmer, whatever it might be, and that there's something you would like. Now, I can't actually tangibly send you something, but we can, as part of the storyline, make that work. You can't actually send me money, but as part of a narrative we can make that work. You'll understand why there are certain things that need to be in place for that to work. Things like the money cheat box that we had on 17 works perfectly because it makes it easier for me to adjust in the narrative. I've just moved that pallet, I've hit it, haven't I? Yeah. Because what people do is they suggest a contract, something they'd like me to do, then they suggest a payment that they're prepared to pay me. Obviously they can't actually pay me that, so what I then do is, as part of the narrative, I sort that payment out. So I'll deliver whatever it might be to a certain point, a certain location, and then the payment gets made. Now, I have had previous ones where people have offered me, you've got to try and make it sensible, and you know, I do totally understand the fact if someone's desperate for something, they're prepared to pay over the odds for it. I really do understand that. But I did have some very, very odd ones where people said to me, oh, you know, can you give me 20,000 litres of wheat and I'll give you a case quad track. You know, the two don't equate. You've got to think about, you know, seriously, how will it work, you know. But anyway, yeah, so they will be coming. I'm not too sure when. I said that about the pallets and now this one doesn't want to come off. Right, click down. There we go. Right. Anyway, I've done enough talking for this bit, so what I'm going to do, load the next two up, and then we'll head off to the construction site and we'll get these offloaded. I'll see you down there in a moment. You can see how I'm loading the pallets on. Having this longer trailer has worked much better for 5 pallets. This will work no differently if you pick up a transport contract. If you've only got 1 pallet to do, you can just do it with the tractor and the forks. You don't actually need to have a trailer. But if you turn up and there's more than 1 pallet, like I say, I've found trying to stack pallets, they don't like it too much in game. They tend to get a little bit funny, and the top one will often fall off because as yet we don't have a set of forks or anything with straps on. On 17 there was 1 set that came out, but that would be quite a handy thing to have, wouldn't it? Anyway, I'm still talking. When I thought, as soon as I was going past the store, I'll grab the case anyway. Now, I may need to unload with the forks actually, I'm just thinking that. Now, one thing I did want to point out, which was the whole point of using the Fliegl DPW, was can you get the pallets to strap down? You can. When I went to the straps go through across the top of the pallet, well, not the top of the pallet, it's not over the top there, but they strap down across through the middle of the pallet there. So yeah, they do. So the DPW works quite well. I think, what was it, 16,000 to buy? That's not bad actually, not a bad investment. If you are going to do a lot of the contract jobs and then you're going to end up with a bale trailer at the end of it. I dare say as new mods come out and stuff like that, there's going to be all sorts of new trailers with straps and various different things, you know, as it was on FS17. But it does strap down, so that's really, really good news. So that's the next part of the transport job. So now we're coming up on where on the map the red dot was, which is the construction company. Now I don't think these are going to just disappear. Oh no, wouldn't, would they? I'm probably going to need to unload them. Can't you do? undo the straps like that. But I think the trailer's too high to recognise the pallets, so I'm going to need to actually unload them into this point. Sometimes when you drive over, I know when you do go to the sawmill with the logs, it'll automatically you can automatically unload them. Here, I think I'm going to have to go and grab the forks and get these unloaded. So, bear with me a minute, I will go back and get the blue power and we'll get this done properly. I think I did one of my jobs was to here before. It would have been nice to get some. I think there is a different contracting job available. I'll do that one later on, but we need to make some deliveries. So, where should I put this out running? Just put it around to one side, as long as I can get the blue power to the pallets. That seems to be off the ground a little bit, actually. No, doesn't like that. Okay. I'm liking this new tractor. Right, okay. Bear with. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. Bear with me. I'm not sure Farm Dog likes it, but probably the mess of the construction site's what it is. Doesn't like it untidy. That's not flat, is it? I'm sure I had this problem last time. I probably should have left this down the main road and then come and collected from the main road. As long as I can get the forks under, it doesn't really matter how I do this bit. That's better. Well, it's kind of, they're on. Ugh. I took the trailer all the way down to the road and then to get it on the flat. Made more sense doing it that way, really. Should have done that in the first place. This could be completely deja vu. I'm sure I said that in one of the other episodes when I did this. Transporting finished. Finished yet? Hang on, don't go for excited. We'll get these forks out first. Okay, so transport's finished. Going on to our contract. Completed. 2,451. It's all money in the bank. And like I said before, just doing a small contract like that, a short one, which doesn't require any seed or fertiliser or anything like that. If you've got a trailer, you've got a pair of pallet forks, that 2,000 and something will pay for a worker. If you hire a worker for doing a harvest job, you finish the harvest job and think, oh, I'm down 1,800. Technically, what you've just done has paid those wages, so you do come out of all of it ahead. Of course you do. There's a couple of contracts on here which are quite scary. Field 4 I'm definitely going to do 18,000, and if I take a hit of 2,058, that's still going to be a 16 grand mission, so I'm going to be doing that. But there's one here for 70,000 for sowing and one there for 85,000. I'm not touching those with a barge pole. They're both for doing potatoes. Field 7's not a huge field. Field 13 again, not huge. I mean, I say not huge. They're fair size fields actually. Let's zoom out. That's field 13. That's field 7. So I guess, yeah, they are fair size fields. Potatoes, you've got to be kidding. It's a narrow seeder, plus because you have to make sure you fill the tool with seeds. So what that's going to cost you in seed to do both those fields, you're not going to make a huge amount of money. When you look at that, first of all, you think, whoa, you're not going to come out of that well off. Plus the time that will take will be horrendous. That said, if you're quite a way into the game and you've already done potatoes yourself, and you might have potatoes in storage, if it's like FS17, you can fill up that seeder with potatoes and use those as seed. So then potentially doing a job like that, if you're prepared to put the time in, you'll make a lot more money, because it's the seed that's going to cost you a bomb on that, and it really will, I think, cost you a bomb. I don't want to do more baling. There's one more transport job down there, dairy station. Transport items from the dairy station to the transport company. I'm going to take on that job because I don't know, interestingly. Not interestingly, I don't know. I'm not, you know. So the dairy, where is that? Oh, there we go. So that, oh, there it is. Okay, so opposite field 4, that's the dairy. So that's the dairy. There's our yellow dot. We're looking for a red dot, the transport company, which is just over there. That's actually not too bad of a schlep. I don't know how much stuff we're going to have to take, but that's another transport job I'm going to take on. But that one, I think we're going to be doing off screen. I think it's probably the best bet. I'm going to find some jobs to do for my my new case tractor. I don't know whether or not just to take the plunge, you know, and take a bit more of a loan now and get a new harvester now. I mean, that said, that to lease the equipment was only 2,000 on that job. So yeah, I could save myself £2,000, but then I'd be spending out a load to get that. I will be doing that. I will be getting a new harvester at some point. I just want to get some more jobs under my belt, but let's get this transport one done first. And I think, realistically, with all the various different bits and bobs we've done the milk, we've done the first transport job, I made a bit of a hash of some of it. There's been a bit of chat, we were down at the phone. Start off, I'm just thinking time-wise, whether or not we're close to the end of an episode. I don't want to carry on doing this transport one, then find that actually I can't edit this down into a shorter episode. I don't want it to be a 55-60 minute episode, but then that said, I don't want to get to editing and find it's only 30 minutes long. So what I'll probably do then is, don't know, might carry on this contract at the start of the next episode, I think. Yeah, we'll do that. So with that said, we have come to the end of this episode. Delivery man, MrSealyp Farming Services. I'll turn my hand to anything, I'll have a go. If you have enjoyed this episode, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free, and if you want to share this video, then please be my guest, whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.